This video is on the concept of, does a solution satisfy an equation? So in year 7, the one new word that you will need to know is this word satisfy. Okay, it has a specific meaning in mathematics, and that's the first thing we're going to discuss. What does it mean for a solution to satisfy an equation? Well, let's go back and discuss firstly what is an equation. Every equation has a left-hand side, has a right-hand side, and both sides are joined by an equal sign. And every equation will have a pronumeral. And when we ask you for the solution to an equation, that is asking you what is the value of this pronumeral. So in this case, what is p? When we ask you what does it mean for a solution to satisfy an equation, well, it's asking you, is this solution correct for this equation? And what it means in mathematics is when we take that solution, so the value for p, so if I think p is 7, I'm not saying it is, but let's just say, for example, we think p is 7. If you go and substitute p equals 7 for this p here and for this p here, if the solution satisfies the equation, then this side of the equation, the left-hand side, will be equal to the right-hand side of the equation. And that is only if p does equal 7, if that's the correct solution. If p actually doesn't equal 7, when we substitute that into the left-hand side of the equation, so over here, this entire left-hand side, not just the 3p, but the whole 3p minus 7, if it isn't a solution, then we will find that the left-hand side of the equation will not equal the right-hand side of the equation. So if it is a correct solution, you will find both sides of the equation are balanced. And we say in mathematics that means that that solution satisfies the equation. When we ask you if a solution satisfies an equation, that does not mean solve the equation. You do not solve the equation. And I will show you in the next few slides how we will answer this particular question, but it is not through solving the equation. So here's an example. Does x equal 22 satisfy the equation 2x minus 1 equals 45? Let's have a look at how this should be set out. This equation has a left-hand side, and this equation has a right-hand side, and they are separated by the equal sign, or the equal sign joins the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So what I'm going to do is take my solution here, which is x equals 22, and I'm going to substitute it into the equation. Here we are. I'm going to substitute it for the x. So see this x here? I'm going to replace it with 22. I'm going to replace it with 22, and we're going to check if the left-hand side equals the right-hand. Let's go ahead and do that. So the left-hand side, this is the specific setting out that you will be required to show. The left-hand side, so that's what LHS stands for, is 2x minus 1. Always start with your actual left-hand side. And in year 7, when we're first learning this, we might need a reminder that when we have 2x, that actually means 2 times x. So we've started off with my actual left-hand side. Sorry, just changing colours all the time. And then we're going to now replace that x with a 22. So I've substituted 22 for the x, and now I'm going to simplify the left-hand side. Well, 2 times 22, that's 44. And 44 minus 1 is 43. Now, when I look at my right-hand side, I can see straight away there's actually no calculations to do on the right-hand side. The right-hand side is 45. And all I have to think about now is, well, does my left-hand side, which ends up being 43, equal my right-hand side, which ends up being 45? Clearly, they are not equal. So now it's time for your conclusion to this question, which is the left-hand side does not equal the right-hand side. Now, if you remember what I said before, it was if this solution, x equals 22, if that actually is a solution to the equation, then both sides should be balanced when I substitute it in. And since both the sides are not equal, means both sides are not balanced, it means that x equals 22 is not a solution of the equation. Solution of the equation. So run out of room here. Got it in. Okay. Both these conclusions or both lines are actually required in your answer. Let's have a look at another example, a little bit more of a complex equation. Does y equals 8 satisfy this equation? So once again, I have a left-hand side and I have a right-hand side, and I'm going to substitute y equals 8 into both sides of the equation. I always start with the actual side of the equation. Don't do your substitution until you've written down the actual side of the equation. I'm going to remind myself that's a times sign in there, and now I can start substituting that value in. So we've got 3 times, and I'm going to replace the y with an 8, so I'm doing substitution right now. Now it's time to simplify. So we get 3 times 8 plus 1 is 9, and 3 times 9 is 27. Now it's time to have a look at the right-hand side. The right-hand side is 4y minus 5, which means 4 times y minus 5. So I'm going to do 4 times 8 minus 5. 4 times 8 is 32. And 32 minus 5 is, have a think, 27. Now, time for thinking about whether this is a solution or not. My left-hand side, when I substitute y equals 8, ends up as 27. My right-hand side, when I substitute y equals 8, ends up as 27. So now I can conclude that the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. That means the two sides are balanced. So what does y equals 8? Y equals 8 is a solution to the equation. I have left 2 more examples on this video. So this is the first one. I'm not going to go through it with you, but what you can do is pause the video now, and then I will show the next slide, which has the work solution to the question. So now's the time to stop if you want to attempt this question on your own and see if you fully understand what I've talked about in this video. And I will now reveal the solution. So pause your video. All right, here's the solution. So have a read. If you get it wrong, you can have a read and try and figure out where you've gone wrong, but I've broken it into the 3 parts. So in green is the left-hand side, blue is the right-hand side, and red is the conclusion. And now I'll show you another example. So have a look at this next, this final example. Does a equals minus 7 satisfy this equation over here? So now's the time to pause your video again, and then I will reveal the solution in the next, well, right now really. Pause your video and I'll reveal the solution. All right, so here's the solution laid out like before, and hopefully your solution matches my solution. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video.